Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining the first virtual Mayor's Business Roundtable today here for the City of Surprise. We're so excited. My name is Janine Yurkovich. I'm the Economic Development Director, and I'm here today with some really great, esteemed, dynamic guests, both from the business community and my colleagues. So I'm excited that we're here today for a really fun discussion and an important discussion. I'll be moderating just from the sidelines today, along with my colleague, Jody Tass. She's the Government Relations Administrator here for the City of Surprise. She's also a Chicago native. Not a lot of people know that about Jody. So we're going to get started. Jody, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you would be so kind as to introduce Mayor Hall.
Absolutely. Thanks, Janine. A big welcome to our business guests today and to everyone viewing the conversation. I'm Jody Tass. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Mayor Skip Hall to lead our discussion. Mayor Hall was elected in August of 2020 in the primary after being unanimously selected by the City Council in November of 2018 to serve as the Mayor of Surprise. He was first elected to the City Council in April of 2008 and had served on the city's Planning and Zoning Commission for 3 years prior to serving on the City Council. Mayor Hall has a heart for the local business community because he spent decades prior to public service in the hospitality and real estate industries, much of which was opening and operating several restaurants and hotels along the West Coast. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Hall to kick off our great conversation today. Mayor.
Thank you, Jody and Janine. I'm excited to be here with you with 6 surprise businesses that came from our 6 council districts. And I'm going to first start with business introductions. So as I call on you, please each provide your name, your business and role, and what brought you to the surprise? Well, let's start with Christopher. Chris?
Okay, I am Christopher Ballou. I'm the principal of E-Institute Surprise. We are a charter high school under the Arizona Department of Education Charter Board. We are a high school here in Surprise, located at Greenway and 303. What brought us here? Way back in 2002, the upper management decided that Surprise was growing, and in 2003 they put in an elementary and high school, and a few years later I joined them, and so here I am.
Nina?
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Nina Lewis. I am the Executive Director of Sun Health, the Colonnade campus. We are a 40-acre life care community that offers countless amenities and social opportunities where residents can thrive together. We are located off of Grand Avenue across from Banner Del Webb. And what brought our business to Surprise is Sun Health saw a great opportunity in the city of Surprise and opened the Colonnade in 2008. In 2013, we moved our corporate office here, and we recently just celebrated our 1-year anniversary of our new assisted living environment. So overall, the experience has been wonderful.
Dan, what brought Toll Brothers to Surprise?
Well, thank you, Mayor Hall. My name is Dan Ray. I'm the Senior Project Manager for Toll Brothers at Sterling Grove, which is a 2,200 lot luxury resort community located right here in Surprise, just off the 303 at the intersection of Cotton Lane and Cactus Road. What brought us here was really just the fantastic growth opportunity that the West Valley and Surprise in general is experiencing. You know, the addition of the 303 has really been a game changer for the West Valley. And we think that our location in Surprise is located ideally for the employment growth corridors that are continuing to expand in this area.
Thank you, Dan. So Josh, what brought your restaurant to Surprise?
Hey, I'm Josh Arnold. I'm the franchise owner of Angry Crab Shack in Surprise off 113th and Bell. We're a Cajun Asian seafood restaurant, which prides itself in being kind of a laid-back, easygoing, boiled-bag, delicious seafood experience. What brought us to Surprise is your economic development team actually reached out to our corporate offices in Mesa and said that we actually were voted or requested on one of your guys' ballots, I guess.
Surveys, yeah.
Yeah, one of your surveys. And they reached out to us to let us know that we were wanted out here. And it just happened to be that I was actually a resident out here and looking to expand on my franchise opportunities with Angry Crab. And it's been a great experience.
So Jamie, what brought you to Surprise?
Yeah, my name is Jamie Cartledge. I am the franchise owner of Aqua Tots Peoria and Aqua Tots Surprise. We are a provider of indoor year-round swim lessons with the help of our highly trained swim instructors and my general managers who have been with me ever since we opened in 2016. We've been able to serve the Surprise community. And what brought us here is just really how family-focused Surprise is. We were hoping and we strive every day to make a difference within the community.
Kim?
My name is Kim Fry, and I'm the franchise owner of Rocket Fizz at Litchfield and Mardell over by the AMC Movie Theater. We just celebrated 8 years in business in August and opened it in an economic downturn. Felt like everybody needed someplace happy to go, and Surprise just seemed to be the right fit and the up-and-coming place to be. So I attended church in Surprise and loved the people of Surprise and just decided that that's where I needed to be.
Great. Next, we're going to ask you some questions. The first question, we'll start with Chris, is how has been your experience either starting and operating a business in Surprise?
Okay, being the principal, I do have upper level management over me. We have other schools in other parts of the valley. I've started with the company here in 2011, so the company had already been operating about 8 years before I joined them. And I haven't heard, I guess it's no news is good news type deal. I haven't heard any complaints about the operating of Surprise. And since I've been at the campus here in 2011, I haven't heard or seen any complaints about operating a business. So overall, I feel that Surprise is a good city to work with as far as businesses are concerned, and overall, I just haven't heard. There's going to be something, but overall, I think the business community is great here in Surprise.
Okay, great. Chris? Nina? What's been your experience either starting or operating a business in Surprise?
Surprise has a lot of growth opportunities. We have great healthcare facilities that surround us, such as Banner Del Webb, which is supported by Sun Health. We have been able to maintain high occupancy here at the Colonnade that speaks to the success of our campus, even through this pandemic. So overall, our experience has been wonderful.
Dan, how about you?
Well, Toll Brothers at Sterling Grove, we've been working with the city for several years now, developing this community. Everything from entitlements to development approvals, the list goes on. And we've probably worked with almost every department within the city for this job. And, we've found the city to be extremely pro-growth and very easy to work with.
Okay, Josh, what's been your experience?
This is our second location that we opened, our first one being in Tucson. As far as the comparison between Tucson and Surprise, it's a no-brainer to open a business in Surprise. As far as getting through all of your approval processes for our permitting for the business build-out and just overall support even through this pandemic, I haven't had one single phone call from the economic development in Tucson to see how we're surviving this thing or even maintaining. And can't even tell you, probably at least 5 or 6 phone calls from you guys just to make sure my head's still above water. So for that much support and that much love for a small business owner in Surprise, I'd say it's been the best experience.
Great. Okay, Josh. Jamie, what's been your experience?
I think Josh said it the best. We've had opening was a breeze compared to some of the other locations we've opened. And then just as Josh alluded to, what we've gone through just now with the COVID-19 and having to close our doors was probably one of the hardest things as a business owner I've ever had to do. But the support we received, not only from the economic department, but also from our customers. People saying like, hey, I'm just going to pay you while you're closed, and I know we'll make up our lessons when we get back. Don't worry about it. I mean, to a small business owner that still has to, pay rent and pay the rest of the bills, it means so much. And yeah, so every aspect of opening up a business in Surprise has been top notch.
Great. Kimberly?
Thank you, Mayor. Opening a business in Surprise, like Jamie said, Josh said, I think the consensus is clear. It's super easy, super streamlined, very efficient. and the support of the community during COVID has been amazing. We had a local community reach out to us during COVID because we were begging and pleading on social media for some type of support on the days we were allowed to be open. We were closed many days just like everybody else. And we were trying to do delivery, which any deliveries that were placed, I actually personally delivered myself. And then, so we had a local community reach out to us. It was Marley Park. And this woman reached out to us and said, look, I want to help. You can't leave. And so I said, well, I don't even know what to do anymore. Nothing seems to work. And so she said, well, you do mystery bags. How about we do surprise bags? Just slap a sticker on them, put some goodies in them, and we'll sell them. And I will even take the orders, come pick them up, and deliver them. So I said, okay, let's give it a shot. So we decided to put a $10 price tag on it. And after 3 days, she had sold 100. Another subdivision heard about it. And they reached out to us and said, well, we want to do it too. And they sold 200. So in about a week's time, we sold 300 surprise bags. So we've kind of kept those going. We have them in the store. People can come in and purchase them anytime. They're $10. And it's just something a little extra that people feel like they're helping because they can do it. And we appreciate it more than anybody knows.
Kim, thank you. So Chris, the next question is, how has your business adjusted its service offering to adapt to the conditions created by COVID-19?
Okay, COVID-19 did not really impact our business as much as I'm sure it did the other businesses because we did not completely close. Now, we couldn't have students on campus, but we were already an online school, kind of half on campus, half online. So it was just an easy transition for us to go completely online. Our students were already used to working on computers. They already had their logins. They already knew how to turn in their assignments. So it really wasn't that much of a change for us. And since we were also funded by the state of Arizona, we didn't lose revenue. But that's not to say we weren't impacted because the students, yeah, it's fun to be out of school for a week or two, but 6 months, that's a little excessive. And so the students, well, we've opened up the campus again. The students are glad to be back. The teachers are glad to have the students back. And so yeah, it has impacted us, but I'm sure other businesses have been impacted far worse than we have. But we still have been impacted. And 6 months out of school, I mean, that's more than a summer break.
Okay, Chris. Nina, how has your business been affected, or how have you adjusted to the COVID-19?
COVID-19 has had a significant impact on our day-to-day operations. Quite like everybody else, we have had to adapt to the climate and ensure the safety of every resident that we serve. We have an assisted living environment on our campus, and we immediately had to stop certain visitations, which was a huge impact on our residents and families. We just recently were provided guidance from the Department of Health on how we can conduct safe visits. But we've had to be creative and innovative. We've had to lean on technology more than ever. We've been able to continue to engage our residents and families through the means of technology. As we have been able to learn more about the virus and how it's transmitted, we have been able to adapt our amenities and services so our residents can enjoy them and continue to thrive. So one thing I would love to share is that we recently sought out feedback from our residents, asking their thoughts on how we responded to the pandemic. And one of the many highlights of this feedback was that our residents feel safe in our environment. And this feedback was very consistent, and we are proud of that because it's been challenging and difficult in some ways. And so all in all, we are able to navigate and have been able to navigate this very well. And our hopes is that we continue to navigate this going forward.
Thank you, Nina. Dan, how have you adjusted?
Well, for us, home construction was designated an essential service by the governor. So we fortunately were not required to close. We did go for a period of we were only open by appointment only, but fortunately now we are open to the public. However, we are operating under state and CDC guidelines regarding social distancing, cleaning protocols, mandatory masks, etc. So we've been able to navigate through this uncharted territory pretty well so far.
Josh, how about you? How have you adjusted?
Well, being in the restaurant industry, you know, it's a roller coaster every day either way. But with this throwing us a curveball, we definitely had to pick up online platforms and delivery services that we've never ever taken advantage of in the past, because it just takes so much more work to prepare food to go than it is to have an actual dine-in service. Beyond the to-go services that helped us kind of make it through this, we adjusted, of course, all of our dining seating to half capacity. We put in a bunch of dividers, so it's been kind of an underlining cost of remodeling the restaurant, even though we just barely opened. Thank goodness the cost wasn't too grave, but it's definitely was an unexpected expense when money was still tight. But past that, we've at least made it through here, and we're ready for the next chapter.
Hey, Josh. Jamie, how about you? How have you adjusted your business?
Well, my last question, I said closing was tough. The logistics of reopening wasn't any easier. So no, we came up with what we call the Full Circle of Safety. It was a program within our school that followed the CDC and local government guidelines. It basically looked at all the different areas of our school, students, the families, our process, and our procedures, and we made modifications for all of them. So that included limiting the number of people in our lobby, wellness checks and temperature checks for our employees. All of our staff wore the mask. We had to adjust some of our curriculum, and we obviously enhanced our sanitization throughout the school. So there was added labor costs with that. So all in all, it was tricky, but we figured it out, and we were very happy to reopen.
Okay, very good. Kim, how about you? How did you adjust your business?
Well, we tried to get creative, as I said in the last question, but the thing that we're doing to go forward is we have such a large and diverse inventory that it's been a little more difficult for us to do like online platforms like Postmates and DoorDash, but we are working toward that, and hopefully in the next 30 days we will be live on that. And I think honestly that's what's going to keep a business today afloat, because still people are used to being home, and it's leaning toward technology and delivery and convenience. So that's how we plan on staying afloat, in addition to all the CDC cleanliness and all that, which we always did before anyways. I'm a little OCD. So yeah, that's it.
Very good. The next question is kind of a two-part question. A, can you share with us how you've been able to hire workforce that you needed in Surprise? Has there been any challenges there? And B, how has the federal unemployment program and extension from the CARES Act affected you? You want to start, Chris?
Okay. I asked how many of my employees actually live here in Surprise, and just under half of them do. The rest of them live just on the outskirts of Surprise, but because of our transportation network, that doesn't seem to be a problem for people to come to the business here and work wherever they are in the West Valley. So that hasn't been an issue so much. The next, how the federal unemployment program really hasn't impacted us. Well, because again, we're funded by the state of Arizona, so none of our people were laid off or anything like that. I will say that many of my, lack of a better word, customers, students, are in the workforce here in Surprise. As I go from business to business in my own daily life, it's amazing how many students I see in the workforce here in Surprise. So that's kind of neat to see how the school is contributing throughout the city of Surprise, not just directly, but indirectly with students working throughout the city.
Okay, Nina, first the workforce challenges and hiring and Surprise, and B, the federal unemployment program and the extension in the CARES Act.
Okay. So we have had success in hiring employees from Surprise. We actually looked at our employee demographics demographics, and over 55% of our team here at the Colonnade lives in Surprise, which is great. The federal unemployment was a challenge to us in terms of hiring caregivers and frontline staff, as it probably is for everyone. Our workforce development goal has been to build pipelines through all the great educational organizations out there like Ottawa. So it has been challenging, but I believe that we are positioned fairly well to navigate through those challenges.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've actually been able to hire several employees from the city of Surprise. Additionally, we've had some Toll Brothers employees move to the city, purchase a home, and now are able to live and work in the city. So that's been really special. Additionally, we have a lot of our trade contractors that their employees also live in the Surprise area. So that's also a big plus. Regarding the CARES Funding Act, that's something we have not fortunately had to take advantage of at this point.
All right, Josh, how about the workforce and the federal unemployment program through CARES?
Perfect. We did have as far as hiring here in the city of Surprise, we had very successful hiring. We basically posted a sign out front saying coming soon. And as soon as we switched that sign over to say now hiring, within 2 days, we had a pretty much entire staff hired and started. And it was shocking to me. We ended up the first day with about 4 people doing interviews, thinking that we were just going to sit there and kind of play cards and wait for one person to trickle through. But by the second day, I ended up calling all of my fellow Angry Crabbers that I knew from other places that also work in management to come help me hire. I had about 8 people there doing interviews because we were just so inundated the first day. And we ended up having to build a system of like a quick like circle or diamond or X, to kind of weed through our first set of interviews because we had to pile through them so quickly. So it was a great, you have a great young applicants out here that are definitely looking for work. So the more and more we can give them small businesses like us that can keep them occupied in their downtime, there's definitely a need for it. Because like I said, I couldn't hire half of the people that showed up in just the first day. So it was definitely very easy. As far as the CARES Act goes, I definitely took advantage of the CARES Act. We just barely opened in December. So to be shut down by March, we didn't even really have our sea legs planted below us. So we did take advantage of the CARES Act. It did help us kind of muddle through the last few months and at least pay wages. I didn't lay anybody off. We just limited their hours for the most part and kept them on as much as they could. They have taken advantage of the, temporary unemployment where they basically could say they're only being given 20 hours a week. So they subsidize some unemployment money to keep them covered as far as their bills go. The other thing we did for our staff through this time, because of course we couldn't give them all the hours they needed, is of course we had a very large surplus of food left over that we had planned on selling, of course, that we ended up just doing big old family meals and sending home family care packages to kind of subsidize some income for the people that we couldn't quite pay their full wages for. But it's been a great experience since now we've been able to reopen and at least make some money back through our doors.
Okay, great, Josh. Next, Jamie, how about the workforce and then the federal unemployment program?
Okay, our workforce is mainly college students looking for part-time jobs, something that's flexible and can work around their schedule. And we really have had lots of success in finding employees. We put ads in Indeed mainly, or either it's a referral from another one of our employees. So that's been fantastic. We were closed for about 10 weeks, and so we had to furlough all of our employees, which was hard. But all of them did come back. There was only one that felt like she just wasn't comfortable yet coming back. So, they did take advantage of the CARES Act, but then they were all willing to come back to work. So it really wasn't a problem or an issue at all. It was welcomed.
Okay, great. So Kim, how about you on the workforce and the federal unemployment program?
I haven't had any problem getting workforce from Surprise. As a matter of fact, we get an abundance of applications constantly. People in Surprise do want to work. the majority of them are really good workers when we hire them. We have a very small staff. So we did not lay anybody off. I did get a little bit of PPP money and use that to continue to pay them at probably half the hours they were getting before, but it kept them going and stopped them from needing to go for government assistance. Since we are open again, I have given them most of their hours back. I did just lose an employee as of yesterday because she just needs more hours and more money. But my main employee that's there most of the time is still there. So I will be reaching out probably to Ottawa to try to find somebody to fill it in a couple weeks. But as far as the CARES money and stuff, we got a little bit of PPP, but we did not put anybody on unemployment or anything else.
Thank you, Kim. Well, listen, that was great information. So now we're going to transition to, hopefully you have some questions for me. So Jody?
So business leaders, now it's your turn. Let's start with Christopher. Do you have any questions for Mayor Hall?
Oh, yes. Mayor Hall, when I moved to Surprise in 2003, Greenway was a dirt road. And right in front of my business is Greenway.
Yes.
The intersection of the 303.
Yes.
And it needs to be addressed.
Yes, it does. We are going to address that, Chris, because we totally agree with you. That's going to start construction late September, late this month. And hopefully we'll have that work all done by late spring of 21 is the plan. Plus, we're going to put in a traffic light at Northwest Valley Ranch there at Greenway. And that's going to help all those people right now.
It's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, you know how it is, Chris.
Yes, I know how it is.
That's going to be a big improvement east-west in Surprise. We just finished Waddell.
Yes, and that's wonderful.
And Greenway's coming, Chris.
Okay. Great. Because again, the transportation network in Surprise is definitely contributing to our growth.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Nina?
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Is there anything that you would like to share as it relates to your goals for growing a business-friendly community?
Well, I think, number one, I think it starts with conversations like we're having today. We're learning more about your business. You're learning a little bit more about us as a city, but more importantly, we're learning more about you. And I think that's important. Number two, we have the most business-friendly city council. I've been on the city council for 12 years. This is the most business-friendly council I've ever been part of. So many of our people have been in business for themselves. They're working for a bank, et cetera. So they're very tied into the economy. They know the struggles. They appreciate what you guys do as small businesses. And so that's been a great thing. Also, we are constantly looking at ways to help businesses. Our economic development, we've got a very good economic development department, and they've done some great things. And I think we're going to continue to help businesses, either through the Chamber of Commerce or on our own in some ways. Janine and her team have been doing some things on their own without the Chamber. So we'll continue that and expand on that. Because small business, we all know, is the backbone of America. That's where all the jobs are created, or most of them. So we are very sensitive to that. So, okay?
Thank you.
You bet. Dan, what question you got of me?
Mayor Hall, can you give us all an update on the city's reopening efforts, opening City Hall or City Council meetings, planning and zoning meetings, et cetera?
So City Hall itself, hopefully we'll open City Hall next month in October. And if we still see a trend downward in COVID, we're probably going to open indoor sports. We have outdoor sports going on right now with pickleball, tennis, and all those kind of things, and kids baseball and softball and all those kind of things. But we're going to start opening indoor probably in October also. I'm not sure, depending on COVID. We'll see how it goes. But if the trend keeps going the way it is downward, we'll start opening the indoor sports. I have a couple of racquetball guys that email me daily about when are we going to be able to play racquetball? Come on. Anyway, so we're working toward that, and so I'm really going to be glad to see city council meetings back open to the public, to where you can come to a meeting in person. Does that answer your question,
That's
Dan?
great news. Thanks.
You bet.
It does. That's great news. Thank you, Mayor Hall.
Okay. Next is Josh. What question do you have of me, Josh?
Our main concern in the hospitality industry is, of course, having outdoor events open and, basically tourists coming to the city of Surprise, especially going around spring training. Do we see that spring training is going to be possibly open this year, or do we think we're going to be delayed?
I think it's going to be open, Josh. I'm an optimist, and I just think by that time we're going to be it's going to be okay. Right now, as a city, we've had to cancel Fiesta Grande, which was in October. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do a Veterans Day parade this year. We're trying to figure out something else to do for Veterans Day. And right now we're evaluating the surprise party, which happens in December. So I'm hoping we can do that, but we don't know yet. And but I see spring training. I think it'll come back. I don't know if you know, Josh, but the Texas Rangers built player housing for them. So they have a player housing with a lab behind the building right there on Bullard.
Nice.
And the Kansas City Royals are under construction with their player housing. So they're investing a lot in Surprise. So, I think this next spring training will be okay. I think. I'm crossing my fingers. Okay, Josh?
I feel you. Me too. We basically geared up for spring training this year, and unfortunately just missed it by
I know.
that much.
I know. Next year is going to be different, I think.
Perfect.
Jamie, what question do you have?
Well, as a small business owner, we've seen so much support from the community, from your department, from the economics department. And I'm just wondering if there was one cause that you needed the small business owners to voice concern, whether it's a law or a proposition, what would it be and how could we help?
Ooh, that's an interesting question, Jamie. You can always be helpful in giving us feedback on signage. We think we're doing a pretty good job with signage, and we temporarily suspended the signage code so that it could help businesses as far as offsite signage, A-frames, things like that, to help businesses. But that's outside of code. That was an exemption because of COVID. But maybe there's other ways we can, as a city, we can help with the sign code. Another thing that you could help with is litter. And I'm not sure how you do that, but as small businesses, one of the things we're known for in Surprise is being a clean city. People tell that all the time. But I have seen a trend up in litter lately. And it's been different parts of the city. Whenever I see litter, I stop the car and I pick it up, But I think if we had some kind of a litter campaign that made kids aware, especially of litter and how it affects the city, that might be something. The other thing is that we have a nonprofit called the Surprise Youth Foundation in Surprise, and they're working on things for youth in Surprise. For instance, right now they're working on an after-school program in partnership with the city of Surprise in our original town site at the senior center, to where kids can come there after school. And they're also at the senior center, they can be mentored by an older person, a more mature person. So it'll be, first they'd come in there and do their homework, and then you go from there. It's kind of like the Boys and Girls Club, but it would be sponsored by the city, but the Surprise Youth Foundation has helped funding it. And that might be, I just want to make you aware that that's going on. And maybe there's some ways that you guys could help the Surprise Youth Foundation down the road, because as you know, we have things for our youth to do. We do a real good job up to about the age of 12. But after the age of 12, there's some real voids there for our teenagers, things to do and things to be involved with. And I think we as a city need to work on that, and we need all the help we can get from our businesses or from nonprofits like the Surprise Youth Foundation, et cetera. So those are a couple things.
That's great. Kids are my business, so we'll work on it.
Okay, Jamie, thank you. Kim, what question do you have of me?
Well, I have several questions, but I guess probably the most important one is why did you choose Bullard for the downtown, and when can it be expected to be enjoyed?
Okay, good questions. Okay, there's the downtown, and then there's the entertainment district of downtown. Okay, so we decided that Bullard would probably be the best entertainment area of the downtown area. When I say the downtown area, I'm talking about all the land around City Hall, which is privately held. When you look at all the hotel rooms we have on Bullard, it just seems like a good collection there of customers, and the walkability of entertainment on Bullard Avenue could really help. Plus, there's an apartment complex that's planned right to the west, on west side of Bullard. That would be another. So we got a collection of a lot of people in one area that could be walkable for restaurants, movie theater, whatever, entertainment wise. And so that's why we chose Bullard. When can we? We had some serious looking going on right before COVID. And then they put it on pause. So I would say it could be a reality within a couple of years. Would you be my guess? A couple of years, based on the interest we had before COVID. So what do you think, Janine?
I think that sounds great. I think that sounds great. And as you know, Mayor, the Economic Development Department is so excited to build a dynamic downtown with not only entertainment, but office, with healthcare, and a variety of options. We want it to be a place where people can live, go to college, get city services, go to the dog park. So no, we appreciate that question, and it's something that is, if it's not our top priority, it's in the top two. It's a really important priority for not only the department but for the city.
Right.
Great question.
And we do in our water resource department, by the way, Kim, I don't know if you've seen the plan, but we plan to have a couple of lakes with a river connecting them. Little stream, not a river, but a stream. And so that's going to add a lot of pizzazz to the downtown too. So we're working on that. That's part of the plan.
Those were really wonderful comments, discussion points. I'm so grateful to each of you. So I just want to say from my heart, Christopher, Dan, Jamie, Josh, Kim, Nina, thank you. Thank you all for making some time, for carving out some time. We couldn't have hoped for a better group today. You've all been wonderful to get to know, and so I just want to say thank you. And the discussion was just beautiful, and just thank you for joining us. Also, I just want to say thank you to Jody. Thank you for co-moderating with me today, and Mayor, thank you for your leadership. You were the one that came forward and said, it's COVID, but we need to still do this. So I just want to thank you for pushing this forward, for orchestrating a really wonderful conversation today. I really enjoyed it, and I hope our viewers enjoyed it as well. This wraps up and concludes our Business Roundtable today, but I'll turn it over to you, Mayor, to maybe make some final remarks, if you would.
Thank you, Janine. Hey, I'm honored to be with you guys. I've got so much respect for small business and even big business like you, Dan. I mean, I know if you guys ever been around a home construction company, all the moving parts it's unbelievable what goes on to build a house, you know? And so I got so much respect for all of you. And I just want to thank you for your time today and sharing your thoughts. It's very important. And, you know, if you need business help, please call on our economic development department, because we're always here. That's why we have an economic development department, not only to recruit businesses, but to retain businesses. And so we want you all to be successful, and we want to help in any way we can. And of course, you know, you probably know the website, surpriseaz.gov, and there's an economic development button there that you can click on to see the services or who to contact, et cetera. And we hope to have more roundtables like this in the future, and we may do them virtual, and eventually I think we're going to do them live, and we'll film them in a live setting when we get through this COVID-19 stuff. So I wish all you guys the best. I wish you a great week, and thank you again.